when you go to these events and you speak to like Wim Hof and you speak to these people who are successful, like that level of desire, I think even Wim Hof, as much as success that he has, I don't think he's ever going to feel like he's achieved enough. And I think that's one of the biggest takeaways when you're speaking to these people is that they as much as they've achieved, they're always planning, okay, what can I do next? How can I get better? How can I do this? How can I develop? And I think that's where that relationships that comes in. And so that never be, enjoy the wins and be satisfied with the wins, but building relationships to help you to gain that next level, understanding where you can go. You might be successful, but there's always going to be another level of success. How you may, sales might be perfect. You might be doing 10 sales a day. Okay, but how can I get to 12 sales a day? How can I get to 40 sales a day? And there'll be someone there who's been through that journey with you. And if you're starting at the very bottom if you're successful as well, it's that level of understanding these events are there to be an inspiration and to be inspired as well.
You've got to be open to diversifying. And that was actually what one of the speakers spoke about there, was diversifying. Throughout 90% of it, I'm reaching over to Tammy going, that's what I say all the time. Tammy. That's what I say. Just like-minded people, but diversify. If you've smashed Facebook ads, why are you not trying other platforms? There's plenty more platforms out there. It's not just Facebook ads, it's Google ads, you've got TikTok there. There's so many ways of reaching people these days.
Another interesting thing that at that event was when they said, someone was speaking and they said in 2020 how much of a hit their business took. And then later in the day, another speaker was up there and she said, funnily enough, in 2020, my sales rocketed.
Through the roof.
Yeah. So it was the traditional business people that had the hit.
What she did was she transitioned into the online world.
Welcome to the podcast, guys. Today we're going to be talking about networking, the importance of building relationships in business. So recently, myself and Ryan, some of the team, attended an event in London. It was a big networking event, about 200 people, and we came away with some really good tips there, and that was really valuable to our network, wasn't it?
There's a lot we learned there, yeah. And I think as traditional minded as some of the speaks were, there was still a ton of value there, and like you say, 200 plus people there was just incredible. The speakers, Wim Hof there, I know there's a speaker you wanted to see.
Roxy, who wrote the book Manifest, which is one of my favourite books as well.
Yeah, it was just great value. It's just a lot to take away. And I think it's just great, again, just to be in a room with like-minded people. You've got 200, 250 entrepreneurs sitting there, like-minded individuals that, we're all on the same page, all got the same banter, all making jokes about the 9-to-5 world. And it was just good to be around people that think the same as you, because once again, you don't come across these people every day. Speakers were inspiring, and the value they're offering is through their experience. So I think anyone watching this podcast should definitely attend one of these events. You can find them all across the internet. You can find them on your Instagram feeds. Because I think if you're somebody who doesn't have a business or has a business or is doing well in business, I think it's great for you. I think it suits everyone.
It definitely does. I think even if all you take away from that is one thing, or it could be you met one person that benefits you, it's well worth going. And like you say, I know for me personally, and I know you guys would think the same, but in your general day-to-day life, you don't come across a lot of people that are on that same sort of level mentally and business minded.
Me and Josh said this on last night's Inner Circle webinar. We were talking about tuning into workshops, experts workshops, Anthony's workshops that he held, tuning into masterminds webinars, because even if you spend an hour watching that and you grab one thing, one little gem, that could be a game changer.
It could, yeah.
I remember watching a YouTube video going years back now, and it was a 2-hour YouTube video, and in the space of that 2 hours, I knew 99%
I know what you're talking about. I remember you watching it.
And I found one thing, and I was like, wow, what is this? And I remember going on Google, Googling what I found, and it come up. And I never knew that. And I went on to use this tool for about 3-4 years. I even use this tool today still. And that was from watching and sitting there for 2 hours. And it's the same as these events, just good energy, and you know how contagious energy can be. You know, you're sitting there and everyone's raving and everyone's speaking about, you know, how they want to improve their life. The breaks in between the speaks were incredible because me and you are standing there and we've got people walking up to us. We're walking up to people. What is it you do? What's your journey been like? What are some of the challenges you've faced? And, you know, usually going off the back of what the speaker just spoke about. So if it was manifestation, then we're speaking to people after about manifestation. But it was really, really good. And I do highly recommend it for anyone. I think it's great for any entrepreneur, no matter where you're at in business, whether you're just starting, whether you're doing well. It was a really good experience with great people. And I've made some really good connections. Yeah. You know, we want to talk about, you were saying just before this podcast, Anthony, we're building relationships, networking. We've literally just come off a Zoom.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Me and Tam literally just come off a Zoom with a speaker that we met at that event. And he's like, look, I can 10 times your sales because that's what I do. I've worked with people that, people like Robert Kiyosaki, who Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I've worked with some very, you know, high net worth individuals. Let me take you to a whole new level. You know, and for anyone watching this, it was to do with your unconscious mind, and you know, that's something I've never really looked into before. But it's something that I'm thinking, okay, maybe I can improve that, which will then improve my businesses, the way they perform, the way I perform, the way I think. And that's just from attending an event.
With that, I know it's a bit off topic, but any point of your journey, you should always still be open to self-development, and I think that's what that guy is going to bring us. And I guess it is relevant because we met him through that event, and like, you know, I'm a bit like everything happens for a reason. Like maybe we went just for that to meet him, and then like that takes us to the next level. So,
but if you didn't go to that event, you wouldn't have jumped on a call with him today.
100%.
You know, so and they hold them all around the UK as well, don't they? Like every single week they hold events, and most of them are actually free to attend.
Yeah,
like you can just sign up.
Go to one, top tip, go to one, and then your whole Facebook feed will be all the events because that's all I'm getting now.
I've been to one myself. I went to one on my own. A couple of years ago. Yeah, I went on my own. Yeah, I like stepped out my comfort zone a bit,
really
went on my own. I was talking to people there, but that's what it is. You get one little thing out of it and you can implement into your business moving forward. Or even just meeting someone, opening doors to something, you know.
I think it's a sense of grounding as well. I think you can get caught up with the hype of success sometimes. And I think when you are doing overly well, like what we see at Change and stuff like that, everyone is so focused on the success and stuff like that. I think you can get a little bit too bought into your own success, and I think you can get somewhat lazy sometimes. I think that's one of the largest. But when you go to these events, you can get grounded somewhat. You can see where people are and like, oh, what's my next level? So I think if you achieve a certain amount and you might be the best in your friendship group, or you might be the best in finger, what's your inspirations to the next one? When you go to these events and you speak to like Wim Hof and you speak to these people who are successful, like that level of desire, I think even Wim Hof, as much as success that he has, I don't think he's ever going to feel like he's achieved enough. And I think that's one of the biggest takeaways when you're speaking to these people is that they as much as they've achieved, they're always planning, okay, what can I do next? How can I get better? How can I do this? How can I develop? And I think that's where that relationships that comes in. And so that never be, enjoy the wins and be satisfied with the wins, but building relationships to help you to gain that next level, understanding where you can go. You might be successful, but there's always going to be another level of success. How you may sales might be perfect. You might be doing 10 sales a day. Okay, but how can I get to 12 sales a day? How can I get to 14 sales a day? And there'll be someone there who's been through that journey with you. And if you're starting at the very bottom if you're successful as well, it's that level of understanding these events are there to be an inspiration and to be inspired as well. Because you're not only taking away the relationships of helping or gaining help from someone, the success that you've got with Change yourself and Tammy and stuff like that, and obviously what the experts, what we bring, that's an inspiration to someone else as well. So it's that relationship of, okay, how can I help them? How can you be inspired and also inspire someone else while being there to build that good relationship to continue your level of development?
We had a message yesterday in the webinar saying, I think it was to you, Josh, I feel lonely in my journey sometimes. I feel like I need more, like more people around me. And being an entrepreneur and running an online business can be a very lonely journey. Some people don't struggle with it, some do. But like you're saying there, these networking events are usually free to attend. If you used to hop on Facebook, there's so many towns, local towns and villages and even cities that hold these local networking events for people that want to network with like-minded people that are on the same journey. You know, so you don't have to go through this and feel like, okay, I'm by myself. Start building relationships. And I think if you value relationships and you can see the value in relationships, having relationships, it's a game changer because being able to ping a message to a friend that's on the same journey as you, not a friend that is happy being exactly where they are. It's a game changer. You've got someone there. And this is another reason why we built this community. You have to remember that. So members can connect with other members, build relationship with other members and have 100 people behind them. 500 people behind them on their journey. You're not by yourself.
Well, I think there's only a certain element of education you can do online. Without being able to speak to someone. And I think that's why the right purpose of obviously what change stands for and stuff like that is that, yes, we can teach you, we've created the videos, we will show you, we're 5 steps ahead of everyone else in terms of videos. We were discussing today, okay, what's the level of marketing going to be like in the next 5-10 years? And we may move away from websites. It might all be in stores. And that's what we'll teach you how to move onto that level. But booking a call with us and stuff like that, the accessibility of booking in a call with us and speaking to us and stuff like that, a lot of people learn more by doing it or by speaking to them directly than what they would online. And I think there's only an element of education that can be shown via video without the questions that are being asked. And I think that's the value that you put within change, where you have these inner circle groups, you have the experts that are messageable and stuff like that. We all respond instantly and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? The purpose of it is that we want you to better yourselves. We want you to educate yourselves. And I think that going for us, and obviously that's why we go to these events as well, is that we don't know everything. And as an expert, we're experts in fields, but we don't know everything. And there are going to be people who are more successful than us that we would love to sit on the coattails of and like learn and educate them, just like be a fly on the wall, because of the way that they're successful for a reason. There's a minuscule element of luck, but the reason why someone is successful is because of the hard work, desire, and the strategical way of they've become that educated, or that way of developing it. So going to these events, getting the speakers' contacts, like you said today, the person you spoke to is, okay, how have you achieved that? Can I dissect that and then implement it into my own format? That's the quickest way you're going to level up, and the quickest way you're going to develop your knowledge is by looking into how someone else has done it. And if you have the ability to speak to them directly and ask personal questions, the curve of learning is just got shorter and shorter and shorter. The level of development is gained so much.
It's being open to it, isn't it? Because like we've obviously got change, we've built, and being honest, we didn't know that this community was going to be so good when we started. When we did the first event, we didn't know it'd be what it is now. Like our events literally sell out. People love it. People have built real friendships. They speak to them every day. But just going back to what I was about to say, being open to learn more, we could think, okay, well, we do really good events, but we went to this event because what are they doing? Like, is there something better we can do for our community? And I think sometimes in business, people can feel successful, they've got a successful business, but they're not open to hear my opinion, your opinion. No, I'm doing good, so I'm doing it right. And they don't like look for, what can I do better though? Is there something missing? And that's why we went to this event. Is there anything we can do better?
I think I was just going to touch on that actually, because we've all got successful businesses, but we're also still willing to learn. Learn new things, meeting new people.
Success can create an ignorance and blindness because you then put your blinkers on and go, okay, this is my lane, this is my focus. I might be successful in Facebook. I'm going to, in marketing terms, I might be successful in Facebook. I'm going to ignore Instagram. I'm going to ignore Google. I'm successful here.
You've got to be open to diversifying. And that was actually what one of the speakers spoke about there, was diversifying. Throughout 90% of it, I'm reaching over to Tammy going, that's what I say all the time. That's what I say. Just like-minded people, but diversify. If you've smashed Facebook ads, why are you not trying other platforms? There's plenty more platforms out there. It's not just Facebook ads, it's Google ads. You've got TikTok there. There's so many ways of reaching people these days. So yeah, I think it's just being open-minded. I think success goes to some people's heads. There was a few people at that event, you can tell they were so up their own arse that, you know, they look at you and they look away as if to say, why are you dressed in tracksuit bottoms? You know, and I'm thinking, I'll probably make more money than you, mate. Humble yourself. But you know, the success does get to a lot of people's heads, and I think you just need to be very humble, be very open-minded, and remember the core values of business. And I think a lot of people forget the core values. They forget what got them to where they actually are, which are things like valuing relationships, building relationships, networking, going out of your way. Entrepreneurship isn't about getting to a level and stopping. It's about continuously diversifying in what it is you do, whether it's creating more income streams, whether it's using different platforms. Entrepreneurship is all about diversifying, and it's about having an open mind,
helping people,
helping people. 1,000,000%. That was highlighted quite a few times at that event.
Yeah,
a lot of people don't want to help people unless they get something in return.
Yeah,
9 to 5 is such a structured one. It's so backstabbing and stuff like that. Like you'll find so much in the basic 9 to 5 in the corporation world. You'll find that a lot of the time success and promotion is given by backstabbing or kissing up to the boss and stuff like that. You've got to do so much. Whereas in e-commerce spaces and entrepreneurial, everyone's so helpful. You will get 1 or 2 people who are out for themselves and I don't get anything in return, like I'm not going to do it. But the level of help that people offer, the hand up and stuff like that, and like it is one that you think, okay, let's do that. But I think one thing that is important, I think it kind of like shows people how to do it, is like that the relationship building. I think it can be difficult if you are like internal or like you're not an extrovert and stuff like that. Like you can be difficult to build a relationship. But I think something that you guys have done and taught me really well within Change is that level of personalization. Like you would never respond back to a initial message by text. Yeah. You would always try and let them hear your voice. You know what I mean? Like put them at ease and stuff like that. I think that's massive.
On the message, of course. if it's like more info now, no thanks. I'm not interested in that. But yeah, like I've always said, it's when you do things for free and you give back, it just comes back your way 100 times more. And so, like, I'm working with a really big influencer at the moment. And he's starting an e-commerce brand with his business partner, wants our support. And I've just said, look, I'll help you. And he's like, what do you want in return? I'm like, no, we'll talk about that later. Let me help you. Because I know if I help this guy, who does he know?
Well, you know, your value.
So I'm not like, okay, if I help you, this is what I want in return. I don't do that. Yeah. The reason, obviously, we charge within Change is we have to charge. Imagine if we didn't charge. Imagine the amount of time wasters.
Well, there was points where we didn't charge, weren't we? We just got flooded and bombarded by people not turning up to meetings and stuff like that.
The thing is, people won't understand the value either.
Yeah.
That's one big thing. People won't understand the value if they don't pay for something. They won't put in the work, will they? Because it's free.
It's free.
It's like, I'll forget about that. I'll do that later.
A week later,
but when you invest into yourself,
it's a different attachment when you financially invest. When you have a financial attachment to something, it's different. It means something, you know. So I'll give you an example of this, and I know it's probably a random example, but when we was in Monaco on the Inner Circle retreat this time last year, we had full insurance on the van. Reece crushed it into a post. And we all just looked and was like,
on purpose.
Is what it is. It is what it is. All damages are covered because we're not financially invested into that.
Yeah.
Where if we had to pay for that, we would have sat there and been like, oh my God, Reece, what have you done? Oh my God, how much is that going to cost? You know, we just damaged the van. And we spent no longer than 1 minute out the van straight in. We drove to the restaurant with a damaged van. But that's the attachment.
This doesn't happen often for anyone looking to come on a retreat.
Definitely come to retreats, guys.
Reece doesn't drive them all.
You have to come to one. It's an experience in your lifetime. But no, just an example there. And I've helped many people in the past where, you know, which I don't do anymore. So don't go flooding my inbox. But, you know, I've helped someone. I'm like, look, I'll give you a membership because I honestly do want to help people. Go, here's a membership, go and smash it. Use the support, blah, blah, blah. They disappear off the radar for 6 months. They come back, sorry, I'm now coming back at it. And I'm thinking if you invested money, you would have not disappeared for 6 months. So it is that, what you're saying, Josh, it's that attachment. You know, you have to, if you're not willing to commit to us, we are not in a million years committing to you.
Yeah.
We have got no interest. And that's how it works, you know? But yeah, once again, I think if you give free things and you do good things and I wouldn't say do everything for free. You've got to value what you do.
Definitely.
And, you know, business is business at the end of the day. However, I think if you could make some really nice gestures throughout your journey, and you can go back, do you know what? Don't worry about that. I'll sort you out. Yeah, you need help. Yeah, I've got some time. Here you go. That will come back to you tenfold.
Yeah.
And not just that, what Anthony keeps saying in this podcast, it's the relationship. It's like, wow, this guy's amazing.
Yeah.
This guy's incredible. The amount of times my network says, "Oh, don't worry about that, Ryan. I'll do that for you for free, no problem." Like, what a guy.
Yeah.
And
are you gonna recommend them to more people? Yeah.
Absolutely. It'll come back to him.
So he'll be
tenfold.
benefited. Yeah.
So you have to remember, like, building relationships is the best thing you can do in business. The stronger your relationship, the stronger your network, the bigger your net worth. It's as simple as that, really. Like, none of us will be sat at this table right now talking about any of this if we didn't value other people, if we didn't value long-term relationships, if we didn't value networks.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have a community that we have. Look at the size of our community.
Yeah.
Look at, like you say, Tammy, people that have created friendships, long life,
Yeah.
Lifetime friendships with other members, like-minded people. But if it didn't start with us, that relationship would have never started. Now, with them two, that will be just a friendship of success.
Yeah.
Because they're both on the same path. They're both reading from the same page. That is a lifetime of success right there in itself.
Yeah.
And it's both members valuing relationships rather than, I'm competing with that individual. No, let's win together.
Yeah.
Let's do this together. Let's win together. If I find something that works, I'll pass it your way, vice versa. And that's how you succeed. And it's easier to network than it's ever been. You have to remember that.
Yeah,
With
100%.
social media
And I think with going to like events, open events and stuff, and I know a lot of people will probably think it's a little bit overwhelming going there on their own, but what you need to understand is everyone who's going there has the same mindset as you, has the same vision.
Yeah.
So you're going to click with people straight away.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to be interested in someone else. What are you doing? What's he doing over there? What's she doing? Do you know what I mean? You can just gather information. Everyone's like-minded, build relationships.
Yeah.
And like you said, look, we got members that are creating businesses together as well because they've built relationships with each other.
And I don't think, no matter what stage of, if they're in e-commerce, or no matter what stage, someone might have been doing e-commerce for 10 years and know everything. But sometimes there's stuff outside of e-commerce that you can build a relationship with. Okay, someone might know in construction, okay, yeah, I can probably get you that product for a bit cheaper. They know nothing about e-commerce. But because they've both attended, one's at the start of the journey, one's at 10 years into a journey. But within e-commerce, there's level of education and level of marketing that I can teach and stuff like that. And someone 5 years down the line will know more than the first person. But there's valuing that everyone is on that journey. And even if you're in the first month of your journey or the 5th year of your journey, that person in the 1 month one might even be able to give value to the person in the 5th year. It's understanding that there's value in every conversation that you have.
Yeah.
No matter the experience of the person that you're having a conversation with, you may even have a conversation with a 5-year-old child and they might again give you the inspiration of, okay, I might be able to make a brand this way and stuff like that. If you're selling that for kids' clothing and stuff like that, there's value in every case. If you believe there's value there, there's something that you can take away from. No matter what you do in life, if you have a purpose of when you're going to go do it, you're going to gain value from it. And I think that's, like I said, in the events that we hold, in the events that we attend, if you go to it thinking you know everything, you're going to be so ignorant and obviously you're going to learn nothing. But the value that there's, like I said, you went to Starbucks half an hour, got a coffee, and someone came out to you, you've never spoken to them. He said, the value I take from your Instagram stories, never had a conversation, but thank you for the value you put in there.
Josh, yeah.
She was talking about me.
So because we ordered food for like 9 of us here, we had to wait in the bay, and this lady walks to the car and she goes, I made 10K last month. And I'm like, what the hell? Am I just going crazy because I hear this every day? So I'm like, is it really? And she was like, yeah. She went, thank you for the Insta tips. And Josh was like, what did she say? And I was like, she just said, I said, you made 10K a month. And she turned around and she was walking off. She said, yeah, I did 10K a month. I said, and you followed me? She said, yeah. I said, did you, I said, have you ever messaged me before? She said, no. I said, wow, okay. I said, good stuff. And I said to Josh, I need to call her back to get a video of that.
She could have made 100K if she messaged you, though.
Crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
Crazy, and obviously she's working at Starbucks, which clearly indicates the money she's making is being reinvested.
Yeah.
But it's like lives that you're touching without knowing is the mind-blowing part of it. She's never messaged me, never messaged her, don't know who she is, but the power of social media, if you hang around with the right people and you follow the right people, stop following these reels that show you how to do magic tricks and stuff, like, follow things that are going to help you level up. And she is a perfect example, of what we do. I'm not going to take all the credit because maybe she's tuned in some of our webinars. Our webinars change lives.
It goes back to what we were saying earlier about helping others. Like you don't know this person, but you're giving value.
Absolutely.
On your Instagram, on social media, you're giving value to people, and people are taking that value. You're not asking for anything back. You're giving people value,
and they don't message you. They don't like the story, so you just don't.
Yeah.
You never know how many lives you impacted.
Well, if you think about in terms of sales, if you think about every person you speak to, maybe only one out of 100, only one of them is a sale.
Yeah.
But if you went to 99 of them, knowing that they're not going to be a sale, with a negative attitude, thinking, right, they're probably not going to sign up. The 100 aren't going to sign up. Do you know what I mean? You've got to treat, like I said, you've got to have value in everything that you do. If you don't have a purpose or value in what you want to say, then what's the point of people listening?
And this is why I think we have the no BS attitude, because we really do value what we do. If somebody comes through and they say, I'm going to join, I'm going to sign up to Inner Circle as an example, and they don't, I won't chase you, because we don't need your money. You need me way more than I need you, without being arrogant, but that's how it is, and we only want the right people to join our system. We don't want just any Tom, Dick and Harry coming through and, oh, come on, where's the money? Show me the money. We haven't got time for that. So I think, when we talk about building a network and building relationships, that's a perfect example there of understanding who the right people are. Don't just take anyone under your arm. Don't just say yes to everybody. You've got to be able to say no as an entrepreneur and a business owner. You need to say, well, no, hang on a minute, mate. I don't agree with that. And I'm not interested.
Yeah.
You've got to have the at side of you as well as a business owner. So you need to make sure that you filter out the shit and you bring the good through. And then when you understand how to do that and you start doing that and you start implementing, certain strategies to do that, it's a game changer, because you're now surrounded by winners, people that value you, that value your time, and vice versa. You value them in their time. The amount of times I get messages on social media, through email, through text message, WhatsApp, that say, oh, Ryan, I've got a great opportunity for you. Oh, Ryan, I've just found this, check this out. And I'm like, wow, he didn't have to do that. Why is he thinking of me? But then when you go back 6 weeks ago, oh, I sent him this thing.
Yeah.
So, but I'm getting more in return. Right, and this person recommended me to you for X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, okay, perfect. Because I've helped him.
Yeah.
It's all swings and roundabouts. And it's an absolute no-brainer in business. If you want to go far in business and you want to make a lot of money, you have to build relationships. You attend events, these events. These events are incredible. Okay, if you've been doing business like myself for 10 years or you're very successful, whatever it may be, you might sit there, 90% of it, you might think, do you know what, I know that, or that isn't going to work. I know a better way of doing it, or whatever it is. Obviously, humble yourself, of course. Okay. But, 90% of it was very traditional business. So we didn't really take too much from that. However, I would say 10% was incredible.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, never thought of doing that. Wow, that was like 10 times our business.
Like we said, though, if you didn't value the whole 100%, you'd have missed the 10%.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? So even though you understood 90% of it probably isn't value, if you went in there thinking it's probably not for us, or you heard the first minute and went, traditional, probably not for me, you wouldn't have gained that 10% of that can take you to the next level. Like I said,
Absolutely.
you've still, even though you were there, and I think this is what is going to be in that environment. Well, everyone's there to value from people. Do you know what I mean? But like I said, like you said there, that 1 minute you learned on YouTube 4 years ago, like you've 2 hours, you've got to put a purpose into it. If you're going to watch a video for an education, okay, you might know 99% of it, but there might be the 1% there. You've got to value everything that you do. If you don't see value in it, then it's probably you're not going to work. You don't want it. Essentially.
It's just a learning mindset, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's being open, because I can't remember who it was, but they said, oh, I don't know if Ryan's going to enjoy that event you're going to. And I was saying to you, like, even if you take one thing, like you never said, oh, I'm not going to enjoy it. I didn't say it to you, but someone said it to me. But it's going there open-minded. You don't know what to expect. You're open to hear tips. You're not thinking, I know better than everyone in this room. Like, you were open.
I think it was crazy to see how many people are actually creating online businesses, because when you're on social media or you're in an online business yourself, it seems like everybody's doing it.
Yeah.
But when you attend one of these events, it's like 80% of them are traditional business owners.
Yeah, because they said put your hand up, and it was really interesting, wasn't it?
Very traditional minded.
Yeah.
And once again, it's that belief that you have to be dressed in a suit. You have to dress really smart. And you can really tell who the online business owners were. They're sat there in tracksuits, they're sat, I'm in just comfy joggers and a t-shirt and a hoodie. Yeah. I'm nice and comfortable. I don't need to do business in suits.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I think it just indicated to me that we are in the right industry. We are in the right we're on the right path because you think everybody's doing it. They're not. They're doing the traditional businesses. They're thinking about opening up shops. They're thinking about...
Another interesting thing that at that event was when they said, someone was speaking and they said, in 2020 how much of a hit their business took. And then later in the day, another speaker was up there and she said, funnily enough, in 2020, my sales rocketed.
For the roof.
Yeah. So it was the traditional business people that had the hit.
What she did was she transitioned into the online world.
Yeah.
So if you remember, she I think, was it a garage or was it some kind of room, which she then transformed into like
a studio.
Like a studio, and then started pushing her business through the online world, which she still does this current day.
Yeah.
And this is a story we've heard many times through the pandemic, where traditional business owners have then adapted to the online world because they're stuck at home in the pandemic, and then they've realized, fucking hell, man, I'm making more money than ever right now, and they've stayed in the online world. But that's a very slim percentage of that audience there. That was 20% at max that were doing online businesses. Somebody walks past you in a suit, gel back hair, he's a traditional business owner. Nothing against them at all, by the way. You know, he could be doing amazing in his traditional business. However, it just showed that we're on the right path. And when they broke us down into 4 different groups in terms of what your turnover is a year, you know, me and Tammy were then stood in the top bracket. And it just once again goes to show the power of the internet. There were 6 people in the top bracket, me and Tammy being one of those 6 people. And the other 5 that we spoke to were traditional business owners. So I'm like, where's all my online business guys? Why are we not up here? Where are you all? You know? So just once again shows that, wow, people don't understand the power of the internet in 2024. If you told me I was going to say this back in 2014, I would have bet everything that I own that I would not be saying that in 2024. I'd be saying, wow, everyone's got an online business. Yeah. Everyone around here has got an online business. Didn't show that at all.
Nah, people still ain't woken up to it yet. That's why. And it's so, we probably live in the easiest generation to network with people. Yeah. With like social media, Instagram, just reaching out to people. You can literally reach out to anyone. Might not open your message, but you can though. You can, you know. You can just reach out to people. You can build relationships. But yeah, I agree, man. People are slowly waking up to it. Online businesses, but I still think a lot of people maybe they just haven't got it in them. They don't understand. They haven't got the willpower or the right mindset to take risks, and it's a shame, you know. Some people have got it, some people just don't have it. But
yeah, and you often see, I think as well, I think it's just lack of understanding and lack of knowing, probably. Yeah, and a lot of people just do what they've always done, which is, I've always owned traditional businesses. You know, I owned a plastering business, I had a carpet shop, I had a shop that sells furniture, and now their next business idea is something very similar, now selling sofas. They just do what they've always done, and that's why they always get those same results. It's always the same result.
If they are successful, then credit to them.
Absolutely.
There is e-commerce, obviously, in online businesses is where we will always promote, but I think there is an element of where there is a requirement for a furniture business and stuff like that. But I think the issue is, and look, they might be successful, but they leave so much on the table, not evolving.
And that's exactly what
that's where people are slowly, I think there's probably you're either all in on e-commerce or you're not on e-commerce. I think there's a slow progression of like bridging that gap from traditional to e-commerce. Whereas, like I said, people are still so put off by it because of the internet. People are still wary of the internet and stuff like that. Look, it can be a scary place, stuff like that. Look at my account got hacked last week and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It can be frustrating at times, but for every one negative, there's 100 positives. Yeah. For every one person that enters your shop, I could probably present that ad, that furniture to 1 million people online. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? You're suffering your own success. Now you may be successful, and look, well done for credit to be successful in business in the traditional world today. Because I think it's harder to be successful in traditional business than it is in e-commerce. Yeah. But I think, like I said, you have an element of suffocation in terms of your business, where in 5 years' time, 10 years' time, places like retail parks, I know TUI, the Trafford Centre, near ours, it's been sold 7 times in the last 10 years because no one can make profit on it. Because there's enough, people are window shoppers these days. No, 90%, 80% of people don't buy in stores. You'll go, you'll try it on, you'll go home and you'll buy it, because that's with the way that people are going these days. Like, there's no traditional money getting pumped into it.
There's actually is a statistic of, I don't know what the percentage is, it's quite high. It's like maybe 60, 70% of people that walk into a retail shop, look at a price of something and they get their phone out and see if it's cheap online. And they go home, buy it online because it's quicker and it's cheaper.
If you're not online in that space, you've then lost the sale.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
But yeah, it's just the way the world's evolved and changed, isn't it?
Yeah.
But like I said, going back to what Tammy spoke to, it's about being open, not just being open in terms of your personal growth, but also business growth.
Yeah.
How can you, and like we said there, I think there is a lot more in traditional business than what in e-commerce business is. People are up their own asses. They are successful, but they're limited by the success. They're comfortable in, these are the ones that are in the suits, and they'll show the success. They'll try and be successful. They'll try and, okay, I'm going to outbid you. I'm going to have the nicest, you might have Heinz beans. They'll try and get the something, do you know what I mean? That's a pound extra and stuff like that. You've been to...
Great example.
It's one of them, you've been to Tenerife, they've been to 11 Reef on purpose. And I said that's a traditional mindset of it, because you're wanting to be successful than the other people. Your happiness is by shunning someone else and being more successful than someone else. Whereas that's not a mindset in e-commerce. The mindset in e-commerce is that if you win, I win.
Yeah.
And do you know what I mean? It's like I said, someone who is 1 minute into their journey compared to 5 minutes into the journey, there's still value in every conversation that it has. You have to be open-minded within personal growth and business growth.
Yeah, 100%. And it's being open-minded to meet new people, connect with new people. And that's what the smartest and the richest people do, is they're always making connections, and they are where they are because of the people they know, not because of what they know.
Yeah.
Well, outside of yours and Tammy's relationship, mine was an Instagram DM to you. Josh is probably very similar how he messaged you. Outside of being open to messaging each other via social media, we wouldn't be around the table.
Yeah,
we wouldn't
true.
be changing stuff like that.
And that's it. A new life is one decision away, whether you send that message or not.
Yeah.
And it's that's the world we live in. The power of the internet, the power of social media. Like, anybody can make my phone go off. Anybody in the world is one message away from me looking at a notification.
Yeah.
The power of the internet is crazy.
Yeah.
But guys, thank you so much. Really appreciate all the value. That event, gonna have to go to another event soon. It's gonna be back in event mode.
We're here.
Hopefully no one's watching this from the event. Otherwise, I don't think they'll allow us in next time. We'll go in there all dressed in vests and shorts and tracksuit bottoms. But finally, an online world event.
They don't let Northerners down there.
If we held an event, there will be a dress code. It'll be tracksuit bottoms, hoodies.
No ties.
But thanks for the value, guys. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome. It's been
Thanks,
good.
guys.
Cheers, guys.